Hey, good evening. This is Christina Williams. The segment here is from a woman's perspective, and we have a very special guest here this evening that is going to give us some information or at least kind of give you an insight on what educators go through. So, we're going to talk about the work and the life balance in educators and what that means. So, I want to introduce you to Sheila Ames. She is a school teacher at
Kip, Philadelphia.
and your students' grade.
I teach fifth grade.
Great. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what happened and what got her to the point where she was pretty frustrated with not having enough support for educators in terms of when things happen. When crisis things happen in the school. And so we always support family, we also always support children, but we kind of overlook the teacher. And the reality of it is that these teachers are also family members. They're also mothers, and they're also aunts and cousins of children that are in the school district also. And so we need to at least rally around those teachers and rally around the educators in terms of what happens when these things go on and they have to witness that. And then the next day, you have to go along and teach your classes if nothing happened the day before. And so their life is also on the line when people come up, family members come up trying to defend their children, and the teachers are sometimes in harm's way for that. So let me ask you just this. Oh, first of all, Sheila. Sheila is very special because Sheila's my oldest child, and she is a school teacher. She loves children. She's loved children ever since she was a child. So it is exciting when a mom kind of sees that their child is embracing and engaging in the life of other people. They've always had the opportunity to volunteer in different aspects of my career, whether it is homicide or suicide families. And she wrote a great curriculum for me when I worked at the medical examiner's office, and we had to do bereavement care for the family and the community. So she specifically wrote the curriculum for children and administered the program. So I am really excited to know this, but I am also disturbed because there is an issue that she has in terms of trauma. And so let me just ask you this, Sheila. Say a little bit or talk a little bit with me about your daily what happens daily in your classroom, because I know you go over and above and give them a little bit of snacks and all that kind of stuff, but talk about what happens when they come in, what they look like, what they're talking about.
Well, thank you for having me. This is a topic that usually gets swept under the rug because we always focus on the children and the family, in which we're supposed to. But there are times when we feel like, what about us? And so my daily routine is, always making sure that I'm thinking about them first. They come in, some of them haven't eaten, some of them have the same clothes on, some of them are just down, sleepy, tired, and some of them are just like depressed. You can see it on their face, and they don't have the right verbiage or language to say, I'm depressed, or these are the things that's going on. They can just say, I don't feel good, or I got in trouble, or I'm hungry. And so we take that weight. So, of course, I have to make sure, one, do they feel okay? Can I provide them with something to eat? Can I give them some lotion? Can I brush their hair for them, just so they feel good to be able to just tackle our day? And all of this starts before 8 a.m. So when we talk about teachers, I know the misconception is, oh, you just go in from 8 to 2 or 8 to 3 and you just teach them how to read and write, and you have snack and you send them home. But the reality of it is I get phone calls from 5:30 a.m. all the way until 9, 10 o'clock at night about our kids. And it's scary because even in the 5th grade, I have children that have been 302, children that run away, children that have attempted suicide, children that are up all night long walking around looking for their parents, children who don't even know their parents. And so all of that is a heavy weight on the teacher. And what do we do with that? So a lot of times we suppress it. We go in with a smile, we open our arms, give hugs and kisses, and whatever it is, we pour our whole self out. But we don't know how to manage that trauma that we have to deal with them. I don't know what to say to a child who witnessed their dad getting shot and killed in front of them. I don't know how to always have the right thing to say when, their brother or sister got locked up in front of them and they're never coming home. And so I have to deal with that 8 hours every day. And so a lot of it is prayer. A lot of it is trial and error. A lot of it is just, what can I do? Just give me a hug. And I just try to see if that'll just loosen up and build those relationships. If I can build a relationship with you, I can do pretty much whatever you need me to do. Or I'm going to find somebody to help us.
That is wonderful. I know a lot of times we talk on the phone when your children are on break, or if they are out doing whatever that's called when you have this little bit of free time, and how they come and hug you, and how they wanted to put their face in the camera so they can see my face, and speak and stuff like that. So on behalf of Primetime Power, I want to thank you for embracing them and outside of academics, because we can't get to academics if we can't get through the emotional turmoil that goes on before and after they're with you. The good thing about it is, this is one of the good things about it is, it doesn't matter trial and error, because our children want to be needed. They just want to know that somebody is supporting them in whatever it is that they're trying to do, or how small it is, or how minute it is. It's always good to kind of hold them, or whatever the case may be. And then sometimes we have to be careful with that, because we don't know what triggers them, or what their life has been through before that.
Well, that's where I say you definitely have to build relationships. And build relationships is not just, oh, good morning, go find your seat. I'm Miss Ames, and you are the student, and you're in this class. It's more of, how was your day? How you feeling? What's your favorite color? Really? I like that too. You like football? Guess what? You have to let them know that they're safe, that they're validated, that they're needed and wanted. I appreciate them. I need them in my space, and I need them to be whole and healthy. And so they see that in my daily occurrence with them. And it's not always about what I say. It could be a high five. It could be a handshake. It could be a wink. I can buy him a snack. It could be anything to say, she sees me. She recognized me. She missed me when I'm not here. And so I got to make sure that I'm here to see her every day and tell her what's going on with me, because I know that she has my back. And so that's all, as educators, that's all we want. Mm-hmm. Can we make a difference in at least one? If I could do it in 30, I'm excited.
Good job. And so I don't know how much. Listen, what I want you to do is, our lines is open, that you can give us a call and ask Sheila any question that you need, or give us a comment. The number here is 610-574-0513. We look forward to speaking with you. We look forward to engaging in you. The other thing is, I just want to ask you a brief question, and you can go into, because when we get into our second segment, or second part of our segment, then we can kind of go into details about it. But what are the misconceptions about a teacher? While there's a vast amount of services offered to students and families, what are the services teachers need, and are their needs met?
So we offer a lot of services for our children and our families as well. We offer special ed services, social emotional services. We offer services for bridging the gap between families. We offer those trauma services. We have counselors. We have social workers and interns. But they're geared to the kids, and they're geared to mom and grandmom and dad. But I don't think they always think about the teacher who took on that and who constantly holds on that and tries to foster that with this child every day. And so there's not many things that we can do. So as educators, we try to find like-minded people. We try to make sure that we connect with people that have our best interests at heart, that is offering sound advice, not just a venting session, but that can pour into us and fill us up when we are depleted. And so a lot of times that looks like maybe our family. It could be our spouses. It could be our pastors. It could be another teacher. It's just sometimes if you're not strong enough to find what you need, that's where the burnout comes from.
And so, and with that, what is it that can be offered that you think that would be able to assist you to? One thing I know is that even during trauma and things like that, if we're able to talk about it, if we're able to get it out, then we can let it go. And so there has to be some type of some type of sessions or something that you guys could have. And I know you have classes and you have sessions and you have trainings for academics, but do you have trainings and do you have sessions for emotional support? Do you have a day for the teachers to come and get massages and all those kind of things to let things go? It's very important that any trauma that you have, it doesn't have to be a homicide. It can just be a trauma of not eating or whatever the case may be, that we need to be able to have a support, some type of support that is going to help us get through just that time, because it is very hard to even fathom trying to teach a child after they've been jumped the day before.
Absolutely.
Or after they've been bullied, and come in and expect them to give them your best. How do you get that? And the other part of it is that even the teachers have to have this, or educators have to have some type of assurance, the same elements or the same essential elements that the children need, the educators need.
Absolutely.
And so we always look, and it's always a Band-Aid approach. So at some point we have to get it together and say, you know what, we have to be proactive. We have to be proactive in all of the situations, not just the situations for this, because they could be in ongoing therapy and you not, because the services have been rendered for them.
Absolutely.
And so how much? Oh, good, right on time, because I'm going. I didn't want to get into the second part topic of the segment. We're going to go on a break, and while we go on a break, this is what I want you to do. I want you to get your telephones ready. I want you to email. I want you to call someone, let them know that Sheila Ames is here, and she's talking about the educators and how do we support them in the work-life balance. We like you to give us a call on 610-574-0513. We'll come back to you in a moment. Hey, welcome. We're back on the air with Sheila Ames, and this is the segment From a Woman's Perspective with Christina Williams. We left off, and Sheila was giving us a synopsis of what it looks like in her day in terms of what our children's needs are when they come into the school, and how the educators need to have a work-life balance and what that needs to look like, and how we can kind of make it happen, because we do have support services for children and their families and the community, but we never look at the needs of the educator themselves. So one of the questions that Earthquake wanted to ask was to talk about a little bit about how to recognize the deficiencies or dysfunction from our children in the aspect of being titled with mental illness in terms of ADHD and things like that, and how it is recognized, because at this particular time it seems like the fad for every children to have that, because there's a couple things. One, we already know that the family members or the mom or whoever does get compensated for allowing the school district to test their children and to come up with that. The other part of it is that a lot of times that money is helping to support the family at that crisis time. So the child is the pawn, or the child is the instrument on how to get funding or enough that they could eat in that particular day, or their rent can be paid, or they can get that school uniform or whatever that they kind of need. And so let us know a little bit about what how that happens.
So when we first meet our children, you give everybody a clean slate. Everybody gets the same amount of everything from you. But there are times when you just notice some things and you start to just make mental notes, and then you just start to watch patterns and behaviors. And a lot of times, especially in towards the end of the school year, kids get labeled as just bad. And right, and so bad doesn't always mean mischievous and all. Bad means I need some attention. I need you to recognize that something's not right, and the only way I can do that is to act out. And so when I act out, I know all of these people are going to come see what's wrong with me. As the teacher, it is, what's this child's work look like? How does this child respond in class? Does this child participate in activities? Are they around other children a lot? Do they eat by themselves? Do they often not want to read out loud? All of these are triggers like something might be wrong. And so it takes me to say to our next line of defense or our team, social workers, counselors, SPED department, can we just see and do an observation of this child? Just because I just feel like this is what might be going on. And we don't diagnose it until the doctor comes in. We say, there's some things that we're noticing. Here's a pattern. Here's some trends that's not typical. Mm-hmm. And so can we just have, it's called a SAT meeting, and we bring all of that information that we have gathered to a meeting with other educators and the psychologists and all, and say, this is what I'm noticing. What do you think as the expert? And then we allow them to go ahead and do their observation and then do their evaluations. And then they come back with a plan. This is what we need to do for this child to succeed. And it's not always a diagnosis of ADHD. It could very well be some social emotional issues. It could be some bipolar. It could be generational things that's affecting this child. It could be, it's sad to say, sexual assault. It could be a vast amount of things. So when we put all of our kids in just one lump sum, it's not fair. And then they don't always get what they need.
Right. Absolutely. Well, thank you. Did that kind of answer it a little bit? This is not your segment.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
The sexual part of the question is that when kids are when kids are molested as small they are, and they shy and they don't like to, they're scared to talk. They don't want to talk about it. It's like, how can you tell? How do you know something's wrong? I mean, your conscious probably say, how do you know?
Because there's some identifying factors. The child comes and maybe has an odor. Okay. You notice that the clothes haven't been changed. You notice that they tend to shy away from group activities. Mm-hmm. They usually want to eat lunch by themselves, or they have that one particular friend that they always depend on. And when that friend is not there, they start to act out a little bit. And we can go on the extreme opposite, always in trouble. The loudest one, making the most scene, tearing things up, eloping out of classes. Those are the ones you're like, something's going on, and we got to get to the bottom of it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. You're absolutely right. When I was over at Shaw Middle School, that was some of the things that we had to identify with some of the children. I did like mentoring with the girls and stuff over there, and not only the girls, the boys too. And one of the things is that they try to make sure that their body smells so that nobody would want them and that they would not be. But then the other part of it is that they can be totally active, sexually active, that with older people, with older men or older teenagers and things like that. So that is absolutely, and you know what? And sometimes thank you, Earthquake, for asking that question, because sometimes people don't want to ask those hard questions, especially parents, because they really don't want to say. They're in total denial. They kind of know, but they're in total denial because a lot of times statistics show that sexual assault on children is usually from someone they knew, someone they know. So that's important. Thank you very much. So you know what? The teachers have to look for that, but we can also look for that stuff when we are outside and we are engaging with the children, whether it's Sunday school or church or activities or the camp or whatever the case may be. You can kind of tell them.
How do you know an aggressive parent? Now, when we was going to school, your mother did not mind coming to the classroom beating you. I ain't gonna lie. She would hit you right in class. How do you identify that? How do you know that this parent's Jimmy, be good. I'm a mommy. How do you stop that in the classroom?
Because everything is not always a physical thing. Mm-hmm. You can tell those kids who get disciplined like that because when you come near them, they flinch or they jump. Or when you call their name, they're immediately giving you this blank look. But it's not always about that. And it takes me to show them that it's something different.
Okay.
And that's how we build trust. Like, I'm not going to hit you. I'm not going to put you in a corner. I'm not going to do these things. I just want to talk to you. And I want to tell you what I didn't like. And I want to hear what you didn't like. And how can we move forward from that? And so that's putting the ownership back on them, building trust, but also setting expectations for them that they probably can't get at home.
Okay, now back to the mother. How do you get the mother help? How do you, without really upsetting the family, how do you get that help for the mother? Like, send somebody there? I mean, I'm not saying send a spy in there, but how do you get that mother help and that father? You know it's trouble at home somewhere.
Because it starts before the incidents occur.
Okay.
It starts when I'm glad to see you. I'm so happy that your child was in my classroom. Here's all my information if you want to get in contact with me. And it takes like reaching out, just sending a positive text like, wow, your child was here every day this week. Good job, Mom. Building that relationship to let her or him know that I'm here as this three-legged stool. It is me, it is you, and then this child. And this child can't be all that he or she can be without us. Because when you miss a leg, it starts to get a little wobbly. And so it's building that relationship with the family. I'm not against you. I'm here to support you. Tell me what you need. These are the things that I'm noticing. Have you seen it too? And it's just a way that you talk to people. It's not I'm pointing my finger at you. This is what's going on. This is what I see. It's, Mom, these are some things I noticed. Is everything will go okay at home? Anything I can support you with? And then, do you want me to be able to go to the next level? Do you want me to have somebody contact you? Or what is the plan? And then if it's out of their hands, if it is something like it is major, you know that your child is in my best interest and I have to report this. I can go with you. I can talk you through this. I'll be there to support you. So as long as they know that you're there for their best interest, then most times the parent is like on your side.
Wow. Thank you so much, Sheila. I really appreciate it. So, Sheila and I kind of work together on a lot of things. So we kind of talk about a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to just people in general and the things that happen. So let me ask you this last question, and take your time, think about it. I don't want to have to tell the story. You can tell the story. How do you maintain or create your own work-life balance? Besides your mom.
I do utilize my village a lot. It takes a lot of self-reflecting. It takes a lot of being able to be quiet sometimes and just observe things and listen without always having to have the answer. It takes being able to receive constructive criticism and feedback to make me better. It takes sometimes I have to shut everything off and I just have to have some quiet time. But then there's other times when I have to be a continuous learner. I have to read about it. I have to ask questions. I have to do some research on what can I do to make this better for all of us. And then there are times when you just have to step away. I cannot wait for spring break. We haven't had a break in a very long time, and we are weary. However, we know that somebody's waiting on us.
Yeah.
We know that they're dependent on us. And so we just come every day weary and tired, but still being able to give our best. So a lot of times the balance might be uneven to whoever it is. It has to be personal. It has to be something like, I can do this, or I need help in this. And not being able to, not being afraid to say that, not being embarrassed to say I need help, or I'm overwhelmed, or I need some support. But being able to say, this work is hard, this work is sometimes overwhelming, and can you help me, is the best work balance for me.
Good job. So it's not always the spa or
No.
TV.
That helps.
Or
but no.
TV and reading and stuff like that. So I appreciate you. I appreciate what it is that you do for our children in the school district. I appreciate you utilizing your village in terms of your pastor, myself, your sister, and your husband and your children. So I really appreciate that. I have 2 great grandsons, which
Grandsons. Not great grandsons.
I said grandsons. Did I say great?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're not that old
Grandson. That's true. Thank you. I appreciate it. We have one in college and the other one is in high school, and they're doing great. Not to say that they don't have their own issues and stuff like that, but there comes a time in life, guess what? You have to step outside of that. Even when you're a mom and stuff like that, and then you turn around and you put those same skills into teaching seventh graders, because we remember when they were seventh graders and the things that they kind of went through. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the audience at Primetime Power Show. I appreciate you being there. I appreciate my co-hosts that are with me to kind of be patient while we go through this very important topic. It was very important for Sheila to do this. She asked. She was calling up because she was kind of at her wit's end about some things, and I thought it would be not robbery to have her on the show to talk about a little bit about the things that she is experiencing as a teacher, as a mom, as a wife, as a good church person. And so I thank you for that, and I look forward to these couple minutes that we're going to have afterwards. And so, producer, how much time do we have? Because I can go into a singing thing, or I can get on Earthquake.
Well, it's about that Shekel Ministries live time, so I would say time is up for this segment. But if she wants to stick around, we can always have final comments and have a quick session, roundtable, some dialogue.
But before you go to Shekel Ministry,
We got a new producer on the Primetime.
what is your favorite show?
Definitely Primetime Power Show.
There it is.
Yes.